Hey, welcome to the Sharpe Way. Yes, it is Monday, and I'm not running around upstate New York or out in Long Island or in the city someplace trying to support some candidates. So I'm here with you, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Yes, that is me. Monday, back to Monday. Ask me anything, absolutely. And of course, please like, comment, share. You will never hear me stop saying that. If we don't like, if we don't comment, if we don't share, we don't grow. So please like, comment, share, put that comment on there, click those buttons, click that like or that hate or that hug or that care or whatever you're going to click. Go ahead and click it. It does matter. And of course, as I bug you all the time, if you've got some cash, support me, sponsor the show, patreon.com/sharpeway, $10, $25 or $100 if you've got some cash. If you don't, no worries. You don't have to. I'd love you to. You don't have to. But what you have to do is like, comment, share. That you got to do no matter what. You can't watch the show if you don't at least click a like or a hate or a love or something or comment or share. You got to do that to like the show. So I appreciate that. Please keep doing that. Today, I want to talk about what happened while I was out basically campaigning these last couple of days. Yesterday, I was in Manhattan and on Staten Island. I was in New York City. The day before that, I was in Atlanta at a solutionary summit in Atlanta. And then before that, I spent 5 days, mostly upstate New York, western New York, central New York, in most areas, a little bit in the Hudson Valley. So did a lot of travel these last 7 or so days. And a lot of things came to me. People who were talking to me gave me ideas and talked to me about things. And one of the things I remember, I was in Ithaca, and not all this was video, but this part was, I was in Ithaca, and a woman who was at my event started her conversation with me by saying, Cuomo did a great job with COVID. He's doing a great job with COVID. Not recognizing or not caring or not knowing, I mean, I'm not sure where her head was, that New York was the epicenter and got hammered, and we had horrible results. Our economy is shot. Our budget's destroyed. Our cities are shut down and aren't going to recover the way they used to. And she led with that, aggressively led with that. I didn't fight her because there's no way I could win. So I simply asked her again, is it okay if I ask you? And I went through that whole thing and made me start thinking, would data, would something that I showed her, would data, would a story, would something, an article, would it change her mind? Would she even read it? Would she even recognize it? Does she even care? Transfer that now with someone who I was speaking to yesterday, who sat in front of me and almost yelled at me saying how we have to prosecute Cuomo for murder, how he's a terrible guy and we have to prosecute him. And I said, well, I agree with that. I think we should. Of course, he's a bad guy. I agree. Who's going to prosecute him, right? He owns the courts. He owns the government. Who's going to prosecute His Majesty? She didn't even hear what I had to say. She simply repeated reasons as to why he should be prosecuted. And he did this, and he did that, and he did this. I said, I hear you. Note, in neither point did I argue with either person. I asked for another opinion or try to have a conversation. And in this case, I said, I hear you. In fact, I agree with you. I think he's a terrible guy. Let's prosecute him. Yeah. Who's going to prosecute him and how? Well, we just have to and she gave me 3 times in a row. She just kept giving me data on why. And the question I was asking her was how? Do you know somebody? Is there a way? How? The question I was asking her is how, and it didn't even matter. She didn't even hear me. I literally had to say to her, I get why. I'm asking how. I had to say that for her to go, oh, okay, let's have a conversation. She didn't know, and she shouldn't have to know. Of course not. She's just a regular New York State citizen. That isn't the point. The point in both of these cases is the people were so hardcore for or against Cuomo, they didn't want to hear what I had to say. And I've been recently watching some TV, and I'm seeing that there are these books coming out against Trump. Trump's bad, Trump these bad things, blah, blah, the Woodward book, all these things. And I wonder, does a book even matter? If you don't like Trump and hate Trump and aren't going to vote for him, does the book change your opinion? No. If you love Trump and you're going to vote for him, does that book change your opinion? I don't think either way. In fact, I think that if you're that woman in Ithaca and I would provide you with articles that would show how bad Cuomo is, I don't think you'd even read them. I think you would dismiss them out of hand and go, nope, that's probably by some evil Republican who just, hates Cuomo. And then the reverse is true. If Woodward's book that hammers Trump, I think a Trump supporter goes, that's just the liberal media or whatever. My question, I guess, is what affects us? What gets us to go, I'm wrong. I shouldn't vote for Cuomo, or I shouldn't vote for Trump, or I was wrong and I should vote for Cuomo, or I was wrong and I should vote for Trump. What makes us do that? And it reminds me of an article I saw years ago. Someone else reminded me of this article yesterday when I was in Manhattan. A woman who came to one of my events was talking about this study. It's an article in Reason magazine about 3-4 years ago. I'm going to get some of this wrong, but you'll understand what I'm talking about. Some of you do the homework on it, I'm sure, because you guys always do the homework. I always get, tweets or DMs later with, you meant this, Larry. Sometimes comments actually in the stream. So, but let me give you the gist of it. It was a study done, I think 3 or 4 years ago, some organization, on whether people wanted to hear their own opinions or not. And, they gave them, if here's an issue. I think the issue was, marriage equality. I may be, but for the sake of argument, it was marriage equality. It's marriage equality, and the people in this study, they're told, you can read two sides of this, right? And they ask the people what's their view on it, pro or against, before they come in. And they tell the people, if you read the article that agrees with what you would agree with, then you have a chance at winning $7. If you read the article that isn't, you can win $15 or something like that, whatever the amount is. A higher number if you just read. You don't have to change your mind. All you have to do is read the article. That's not your opinion, and you have a chance at winning more money. 2/3 of the people said, no, I'll read my opinion. 2/3 said, no, I don't want that. No extra money. I want my opinion. Now, it's a low amount of money, so I think there's a flaw in that, right? Because it's a low amount of money, and it's only a chance to win, right? If you actually gave them higher, that might change. It might have skewed. So who knows how telling that study really is? If it was, $1,500 and $700, a lot of people would have read a whole bunch of things, right? For another $800, right? So it's a different issue. But it does show that we really do want to hear our opinion tremendously. It's one of the reasons why I've gone out of my way. And you see it when you watch me here do it. When people who disagree with my opinion, I beg them to stay. I literally say, please stay. Please don't leave. Please stay. I don't insult them. I say, please stay. Please. Because I know how hard it is for people to listen to someone else's opinion. And I want to listen to someone else's opinion also. I beg people. You see me. I go, please don't leave. Right? They put Biden 2020, Trump 2020, knowing I'm voting for Joe Jorgensen. And I go, no, stay. Please. It's okay. You can vote anti. It's fine. Just stay. I want to talk to you. And the woman who was so pro Cuomo, clearly I'm anti Cuomo, I asked her to stay, and we chatted for a while. But the question becomes, what can we do? There was a quote, the cost of becoming educated is too high compared to the chance, I'm going to mess it up, compared to the chance to actually make change. Wow. I think that's real. I think people believe that. Why bother getting educated? Why bother watching all the shows? Why bother learning stuff when nothing changes? Do we become helpless? And then I'm not going to read that book on Trump. I made my mind up. I'm not going to read that article on Cuomo. I made my mind up. The Wall Street Journal did a terrible article on Cuomo, hammering him badly. Woodward did a terrible book on Trump, hammering him badly. I don't think if you love Trump or love Cuomo, you're going to read those books. You're like, whatever. You're not going to read them. I don't know. Am I crazy here? Am I so wrong? My question is, what is going to get us to change? Is there something? I'm concerned. I hope it's this show. Maybe it's this show. Maybe it's me and you talking to people, being human, chatting back and forth and trying to be more human with each other. Maybe that's what it is. Let me grab a couple of comments. Hey, James, I'm glad you're with me again. I appreciate it. Paul, how you doing? Jennifer, how are you? Good. Let's see here. Hey, Joseph, I appreciate that. How can we change the culture from red and blue to gold? What will change the minds of the majority to gold? You know, this is really my question. AJ, thank you. You've actually honed my question down even more. I think you're right. I guess I was shocked at the idea that so many people wouldn't. I mean, these are people who came to my event. You come to my event and you can't hear me. You came to my event. You would think if you come to my event, you're like, okay, I've come to Larry's event. I want to hear him. I get if you don't come to my event, that you don't care who the hell I am. But if you show up to my event, my assumption is, well, you want to hear what I have to say. Otherwise, you're at home watching Netflix or hanging out with your friends and family. You're not hanging out with me. So that's my assumption. And they had trouble hearing me. Man, wow. I think it's tough. I think it's a long-term game. I tell many people, I started this plan in 2016 with a 10-year plan. I'm only 4 years in. I got 6 left. But it's a long time. I think it's a lot of conversations, a lot of conversation. A lot of people don't like facts. James, I'm not sure that's true. I think they like facts, just the ones that make them, feel good about their choice already, right? I think they like to shift facts. I know there's a saying the Ben Shapiro fans will always tell me this, your facts don't care about your feelings. And what I always say to that is, well, they should. They really should. Because feelings, to your point, James, ignore facts. Feelings make up facts. Feelings modify facts. I mean, feelings kick facts' ass like there's no tomorrow. So maybe facts should care about feelings because feelings are a whole lot stronger, a whole lot more powerful, and modify facts that there's no tomorrow. Facts don't do the reverse. That's not how that works. Facts have almost no effect on feelings. Feelings, man, tear facts up. So yeah, I think they like the right facts. I think we should change to gold and green. It would be much better than one party rule. I think it's true, but why can't we do red, blue, gold, and green? I like 4, Paul. Let's do 4. Imagine if we had real coalition governing. If we had coalition governing, the Democratic Party could break up, Republican Party could break up into parties that are really who they are. In New York State, the Conservative Party used to be a real conservative party, actually more than a Republican Party. In New York State, and this obviously depends upon the state, right? The Republican Party in Oklahoma is far more conservative than the Republican Party in New York State, just different states. So obviously different. But the Conservative Party in New York State used to be a real conservative party. That is no longer true. Now that the puppets of the Republican Party, that's completely changed. But they used to be that way. The Green Party has actually been that foil for the Democratic Party to bring Democratic Party further left. It has actually done that, right? Democratic Party in New York State has gone further left not because of, a part of the reason is the Green Party, right? That has not been true in the right in my state. The Conservative Party has not done a good job. But imagine if we actually had 4 or 5 or 6 parties where each one could pull each one each way and people could feel at home talking about the issues that they really matter and not having to only, bow to whoever is the current warlord, right? If you're in New York State and you're a Democratic politician, you do what Cuomo says. That's what you do. Even if you don't like him, it doesn't matter. The warlord is out. If you're in the Republican Party, you got to do what Trump says, or you leave the Republican Party, right? How many people have left the Republican Party because they won't follow Trump? Same issues, right? And I know you guys who hate Trump are going, Cuomo's not like Trump. You guys who hate Cuomo, Trump's not like Cuomo. No, they're both warlords of different parties. And you have to follow the warlord or there's a problem, right? And you have to either leave or shut your mouth or something like that. And that's how it's working right now. I wish we had more, Paul. I like what you're saying. Let's go further. It's always the problem given, but no solution. Definitely not conversation. Very true. Yes. Most people form their judgment based upon opinion, not fact. Yep, James, the feelings. What I was talking about. Absolutely. Yo, Larry, this question is probably super catty. Okay, let's give it a shot. But since Howie Hogan is running for president now, do you have any anecdotes or fishy weird behavior from him while crossing past him during the New York gubernatorial race when you ran against him? Something is really, really off about Howie. I would love to hear you spill some tea. Well, I actually interviewed him on this show about a month ago, and again about a year ago. Howie Hawkins was my first guest on this show a year ago. Some of you don't know this. So he's been on my show twice. I like Howie. I do. He's an open socialist. Totally. The issue about why I like Howie is because I think Howie actually cares. I think he really believes that his way is the right way. He's trying to help. He's been consistent forever. He's super consistent in what he believes and what he feels. And so, yeah, I like Howie. I'm not going to vote for him because I'm not a Green. I'm not a socialist, so I'm not going to vote for him. If you're a socialist or a Green, he's a good candidate for you. I mean, if you're a socialist, I hope you're not, but there are socialists in America, lots of them. And if you are one, he's actually a good candidate for you. I'm not that. I'm not where I am. He's actually a good man. I think he could actually be changed. I think the reason why Howie and I get along is because we're prepared to accept that we both want the same outcome. We want a better America. We want better communities. We want better localization. He actually is pro-localization. He wants like communes and stuff, but he actually wants localization. So I'm on board with him. And if I had any bad tea, I wouldn't spill it. I like him too much. Even I don't have any, but if I did have any, I wouldn't spill it. It wouldn't be right. It's not the guy that I am. So I appreciate the question, and I'm not going to dodge the question. I'm going to openly tell you I don't have any tea, and if I had any, I wouldn't spill it anyway. And I would just tell you I got it, but I'm not going to spill it. So I wouldn't hide it. I would just tell you I have it. I'm not going to spill it. I don't have any. If you want to hear what he had to say, 2 interviews. He's an open book. He will answer any question. I literally went down his policies, trying to get all of them. I couldn't get enough of them done. He'll tell you everything. So I hope that answers your question at least. Sounds like cognitive dissonance. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. 100%. Yes. I value liberty above everything. Cuomo is not liberty friendly. That's true. Cuomo is a Cuomoist. What I mean by that is he's not really he's legally a Democrat. He's registered Democrat, but he's not really a Democrat. He's a Cuomoist. He would be whatever party it takes to win. If he thought being a communist would win, he'd be a communist. If he thought being a Marxist a fascist he'd be a fascist. He would be whatever it takes. He'd turn Republican tomorrow. He wouldn't think twice. Whatever it would take to win, that's what he is. He spews whatever he thinks you think, and that's it. That's it. Yes. Just joining is Larry giving us money. That'd be amazing, Joe. I love that. Remember, you're running for office. Stop giving your money away. Spend it on yourself, Joe. I teach you every time. I'm not giving you guys any money. I'll put you on my show again if you want, but that's all you get. No money. Yes. When are you having me on, Larry? I don't know. Did you reach out to my team? I don't actually know. Reach out to my Facebook page. My team monitors it, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you. Let's see here. I can share one from Washington. Okay, you're going to share some tea, John. Go ahead. He thinks internal combustion engines are already electronic, so we should easily be able to transition to electric cars. Like holy crack, the spark plugs are a chemical reaction, but the pistons are mechanical. An IC engine itself can be fully mechanical. Is Howie Hawkins trying to say that he's completely opposed to the use of a type of engine he doesn't understand at all? It's like gun grabbers know nothing about guns before they. I'm not sure that's what Howie is, right? What Howie wants, and he wants it now, is he wants a green country, and he wants it now. So he's against nuclear, which that part I don't get, but he's against it. And he explained why he's against it when I interviewed. I asked him about it because I'm totally pro-nuclear, and he's totally not. He's 100% against it. Even Gen 4, he's against. I'm totally for it. But he doesn't want that. What he actually wants is electric cars, meaning that electric cars, we can do it already. We can make electric cars already. Hybrid cars, we can make it. He's correct. I agree with what he's saying. It would be amazing if we all had electric cars. Totally awesome. The problem is, what are you going to do with them all? What are you going to do with the cars you have now? You're going to take someone's car? You're going to say they're all illegal and make them sell them when they're going to have no value? Could you imagine if all of a sudden overnight, America said, oh, by the way, you can't drive a gas-powered car by 2025, whatever the number is, right? Who'd want to buy a car? Your car you just bought just lost like 90% of its value. You can't drive it in 5 years. Oh my God. But that's the kind of thing. But he believes, and he believes in his heart, John. He believes that, yes, there'll be short-term pain, but what an amazing place we'll have, after I devastate your property value. Then it'll be great right after that. Just put up with that pain. Man, look how great it'll be when we all have electric cars. And he does believe that solar is the answer. He believes water is the answer. He believes all that stuff. So I don't think he was being, I think he probably just didn't say it the way he meant to say it, is my gut. That's what I think. Yes. I don't read political books. I guess I should hit the library more often. You can, but you can find a lot of political stuff on things like the great courses. You can find a lot online. A lot of it you can do online and watch and listen. Right? I have an Audible account, and most of my books now. It's funny, if I were to go back 15 years, I never read a book. It was all books on tape. Never do that. Read every book. Had a huge library full of tons of books. Now it's very rare I actually read a book. Most books I consume, it's through Audible. I'm on, not anymore. I mean, I was in the subway almost every day before my overlord, His Majesty King Andrew II, all hail His Majesty. Before he told me that I was no longer essential and that I can't work. Before he stopped me from working, I was on a subway almost every day, and I'd put my headphones in and I'd listen to books. So I consume most of my books through Audible. So I think that also is possible. Libertarians are few and far between. It's nice to finally meet you, I guess. But I want to ask, what is the libertarian position on federal holidays? I don't, is that a thing? I don't know. I guess they're nice. Have federal holidays. I don't know what the question is. That for me, James? Someone else? I'm not really sure. Is that a thing? Like, are we mad about federal holidays? I'm not. I think that on my list of priorities, that is about 10,000. Leave them alone. I don't care. It's a non-issue. A non-issue. Yes. I have my own library, 2.5 bookshelves, and looking for a bookshelf to put all my new books on. I used to grow. I have a lot of books. I have a lot of books I own. I actually threw a bunch out over the summer. I threw a bunch of them out because I transfer them over to Audible. So now I have them on Audible. I hardly ever read books again. The ones that I've gone back again, I kept those. So I used to have 3 bookcases. Now I have 1. That's how much I threw out. I threw out a ton. The ones I keep are the ones that I go back to. If I don't go back to them, if I haven't gone back to a book, garbage. Gone. Literally just tied them up, put them out front. People took them, recycle. People grab them. People come by and take them. Enjoy. I don't mind. I had tons of them. I'm down to 1 bookshelf from 3. I'm going the opposite. I tend to be an early adopter with these things, which was also a bad thing because I took all my albums. Yes, I used to have albums. I'm that old. And I transferred them over to CDs. And I had some tapes. I didn't really like tapes. I wasn't a tape guy. I went from albums to, I would make mixtapes for my albums, but I didn't buy tapes very often, hardly ever. I bought albums, changed them all over to CDs. And by like 1989, 90, I was all CDs. I was relatively early in that change compared to many people. I was all CDs by like 1989, 1988. I was all CDs. I had 200-300 CDs, something like that, a lot. And about 5 years ago, I threw all those out. I don't play them anymore. I never played them anymore. I literally just would get, I have like 2 or 3 other accounts, Pandora and Spotify and one more. I forgot what I have. So, I've already changed over. So library, not my thing. If Judge Jim Gray and yourself were running right now, who would you pick to nominate to the Supreme Court? And do you think Joe Jorgensen will have the same pick? Great question. The advantage that Judge Jim Gray has over, or had, he's not running anymore, had over every other person running for or trying to get the Libertarian nomination was that he knows these judges. He's seen them. He knows them. He's read their opinions. There literally is no one of those who are running who would have had a better mind to pick them. So he would have picked the best one for sure. I don't really think much about a Supreme Court. The only thing I've run for is governor. And if I were to win the governorship and pick any judges, I would be looking to my lawyer network to help me out. I have a couple of libertarian lawyers who I would ask to do that. I personally wouldn't have a pick. And I wasn't running for president, so I still don't have a pick. So I don't know who the person would be. I'm not sure. I don't know the circuit courts well enough to have that answer. So, John, I'm sorry. It's a good question. I don't know. I don't think Jo Jorgensen knows the Supreme Court. I mean, the circuit courts very well either. Not because she's smart. That is not it. She's a PhD. She's clearly smart. I still think that's her world. Like, it's not my world. It's not her world. Her world's academia. My world's business. We don't live in that world. Judge Jim Gray, that's literally his world. So I think he would have been the best one to pick. I don't really know what would be the right answer. But I probably, if I were to pick one, let me modify that. I would almost certainly pick someone who was a criminal defense attorney. And I mean that seriously. I would pick someone who was a criminal defense attorney, because criminals, people who've been convicted, they have to Mark Whitney's credit, he really enlightened me on this. He said they've lived all 10 of the Bill of Rights. They've lived them all, gone through all of them, all revoked, dealt with all of them. So a criminal defense attorney has seen the system at its worst, has seen everything, has seen how it can crush and take away rights and destroy lives. So if I were to pick any judge, it would be someone who, prior to that world, or even currently, was a criminal defense attorney, that they had actually watched them, or a criminal defense attorney, either private, or even a public defender. Either one. Just someone who had been through that and had watched the system crush the average American. That person is who I would pick. Someone like that. I hope that was a good enough answer, John. No, it wasn't the perfect answer. Hope it was good enough, though. Now, I'm not much of a book reader in my recent libertarian years. I used to love reading books as a kid and somewhat as a younger adult. I actually read a Trump book maybe 10 plus years ago. Yeah, it's funny. I don't read fiction anymore. I used to like science fiction tremendously. That's why I remember from our other show, I was talking about The Positronic Man. I actually read that book, 1980 something. I forgot when I read it. But I rarely read fiction anymore. It's so rare that I read fiction. If I read, it's almost always something that's nonfiction. And when I listen to books, it's almost always nonfiction. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay, the selective facts of an equation. Blown feelings. All right. We need more libertarians in New York. Yes, Logan. Lots of them. That is one of the reasons why I'm out there. I've done 17 out of 66 stops so far. 2 more this week, and then next week we're back out again. So, yes, I'm doing Long Island. Oh, no, is it Long Island? No, I'm doing Queens and Brooklyn. I think Queens and Brooklyn, this week, and then Long Island next week. I'll have done all of downstate, not Westchester. Do you consider Westchester downstate? I think so. So I'm on my way. There's no way we can grow libertarians if we don't get people to vote libertarian, Logan. You are correct. Yes. Will abolishing the Electoral College do any good? Any good for what? Is in general? You could. I'm not sure the Electoral College needs to be abolished. And I know some people are very upset about this. They really want it to be gone. It's a terrible thing, blah, blah. It is clearly outdated. That's true. That's 100% accurate. It's outdated. There is, though, value to it. And that is the same old thing. You don't want the tyranny of the majority, right? That's what you don't want. So there is some value. I'd also like the states, because they are individual states and do have their own rights, to make their own rules on this, right? Some states have decided already that whatever state wins, you are now bound to vote the way that state who have won that state. And while I don't personally like that myself, I don't like that idea, states have a right to decide that. I think it's a bad idea, but I don't have a right to tell a state they can't do it. In my world, my perfect world, it's something similar to what Maine does, right? Some form of, here's a concept, Amber, and you'll get what I mean. I'm okay if we adjust it conceptually, but you'll get what I'm talking about. Say you take the votes and you divvy them up into 1/3 and 2/3, right? For the sake of argument, your state has 12 electoral votes because that just fits my math well, right? So that's what happens. So whoever wins the state gets 1/3. So that person who wins state gets 4 electoral votes. Done. That's 4. There are 12 left. That's broken up by percentage. That's what I would do. So the winner gets a third because you won. You won, you get a third. Then anyone else gets broken up by percentage. So say the guy won, the gal won, 66% of the votes. She wants 2/3. So she gets the 4 for winning. Then there's 8 left. And then she gets whatever 2/3 of that is, about 5 or something, right? Is my math right? And you decide whether you're going to round up or round down, depending upon how you write your law. So something like that, I think, is a better way. So you could win the state, and that person would get, say, 9, and the other person would get 3. It's fair. I like something like that. But I don't think I have a right to dictate that to a state. I think states should pass their own rules on how to do that. So I think they are doing it, right? Is it Nebraska that does it that way, I think, and Maine, if I'm not mistaken. So states are already making up their own rules, and I'm okay with that. I think locally states should pick their own rules the way they want. I happen to like a Maine style. I think it's a better way of doing things. I hope all states go that route. I think I answered. But will that help in people changing their minds? No, I don't think it will. I don't think it will at all. All right. 4+ parties in Congress be far more productive. Bye party line vote. Yes, John. That's what I'm saying. I wish there were a whole lot more. Absolutely. Yes. Larry, just heard of Sims versus Labowitz. In light of this whole cuties controversy, I wonder how many conservatives were up in arms with a 17-year-old kid being forced to expose himself by police. Those officers being guaranteed qualified immunity. I don't know this very well, actually. This goes back to, I think, the first piece, though. If you support Trump or support Cuomo, you don't want to hear anything else. And one of the things I was talking about when it came, and you brought it up perfectly, I brought this up actually yesterday at my event. I was saying Libertarian Party is the only party that actually came up with a solution after George Floyd's death, right? The right just went, cops are gods and perfect, back to blue. And the left went, cops are evil and horrible, and George Floyd's a martyr. And that was it. And that's all anyone ever heard, and it didn't matter, and anything else you said didn't matter, because either cops are perfect or cops are horrible. That was the only answers. But then here comes Justin Amash, who says, why don't we end qualified immunity? Is that what you're talking about? And both Democrats and Republicans got on board. Of course, they didn't vote on it because they weren't gonna, which is why I said we should go to the Supreme Court. And then the Supreme Court didn't go through it. So both Amash and I were both wrong. But in any case, there was actually an answer. Without that, people just go left and right. And I don't think they're going to hear it, Jonathan. I think it's just, no, cops are perfect or cops are bad. And that's it. Anything you tell me that doesn't fit that narrative, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. I'm not going to be up in arms. Why would I? Absolutely. Yes. Do you think Donald Rainwater can win? I don't know. I'm talking to him, I think, this week. I got that out to my team. I think I'm speaking with him this week. I'll see if I can have him on my show. I don't actually know. So I'm going to check that out and see what I can do. Is New York State doing RCV? That, for those who don't know, it's ranked choice voting. New York City does it. You'll love this reason behind this, guys. New York City does it only in the primaries. Why? Because in New York City, the Democratic primary is the election. Republicans don't get elected here. I'm sorry, it's not true. Here or there. I think there's 51. I think there are 51 people in our city council. And I think 49 are Democrats. And I think 2 are Republicans, if I remember right. I'm sure someone will correct me. But I'm pretty sure that's correct. So the primary is literally the election. And this is going to sound crazy. So that factions within the Democratic Party have a chance at being heard and have a chance at winning over the establishment, they've put in ranked choice voting to keep Democrats happy. I know your head's going to explode, right? Well, then how about giving third parties a chance in an election? No. Only Democrats and Republicans have any right to the ballot. The rest of you people need to get out of here. You're in the way. So we'll make sure our own internal factions have fair voting. You don't get fair voting. You're not Democrat or Republican. Yes, I'm not joking, Joe. It's that bad. But hopefully, my hope is, I think Maine put it in, but it got canceled because of this, because of COVID. But I think Maine still does have ranked choice voting. So it is starting to happen. It's slowly happening. Yes. So if it comes down to it, no libertarians vote against for Trump. Not sure what you're asking, Jamie, but there are a lot of libertarians who sadly aren't voting for Joe because they've fallen for the left-right paradigm. I saw it when I was out there. I saw people who were like, I love libertarians, but Trump's got to go. I love libertarians, but I got to support Trump. I actually heard that more than once, and I wish they wouldn't. I wish they would just go, it doesn't matter. It's going to go the way it's going to go, particularly in New York State. You guys have heard me say it 18 times. If you live in New York, if you live in California, if you live in Oklahoma, South Carolina, you don't get to choose who the president is. You just don't. You don't. Amber, to your point, if we had a different electoral college system, maybe that wouldn't be the case. But the way it works now, you don't get a choice. You don't. New York, California, going to Biden, no matter who you vote for. South Carolina, Oklahoma, going to Trump. Doesn't matter who you vote for. You're throwing your vote in the garbage. What are you doing? Vote libertarian. So, but there are people who just, if right-leaning libertarians, some of them, not all, but some of them are afraid. Oh my God, socialism is going to come and I got to vote Trump. And then left-leaning libertarians, Trump's the evilest thing in the world. Got to vote, got to get him out. They're voting Biden. It is happening. You don't have an answer. You don't have to answer this, Larry, but the equation that makes people select their candidates for public office service is very complex. Yes, I agree. Yes. I love that you didn't bite my attack politics bait. You passed the test, Larry. Thank you, John. See, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad after all. Yeah. Cuomo technically is a fat. Yes, Paul, he is, but legally he's a Democrat. But yes, he is a fascist. You're correct. Yes. If it meant raking the Goa Pele, I'm not sure what that is. That Goa Pele? Would you running unity ticket with Howie? And if so, what would that look like? I'm not sure what you're asking, John. I'm not sure what you're asking. I can't. I'm not sure what you mean. Your interview of Howie was pure class. Thank you, John. Instead of debating him, you allowed him to freely lay out what he believed. Most would want to interrupt him. I wanted to. I just didn't. I also wanted to interrupt him. You've seen me, guys. I interview a lot of people, and I do it on purpose to a point where I don't want them to feel attacked. I want them to say who they really are, when they really are, and I want you to decide. I don't want to attack them. That's not the goal. I want more people to be in the show. I want more conversation. They can go on Fox or CNN or MSNBC and get yelled at all day. They can go on the Liberty this or Liberty that, get scolded all day. If they go on some podcast going to yell at them, they can get yelled at all day if they want to. That's not what I'm about. This show is not about that. This show is hopefully creating more and more dialogue. I've been crying for years for change. I don't want to fight the left. I don't want to fight the right. I want to convert them all. I am greedy, John. I want to convert them all, and I can't convert them if I can't talk to them. So come on in. And you guys, if you're taking the time to watch this show, thank you for watching, by the way, or listening. Many of you I know are listening and aren't watching, but you're listening. But for those who are listening, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope you're getting a different viewpoint that you're not going to get on some other TV show or some Liberty show that's just going to scream rhetoric at you. Most Liberty shows, sadly, just scream rhetoric at you. I try to not scream rhetoric at you. I want to sometimes, but I try not to. So thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. I don't think we should have political parties at all. Chris, I agree. Just 20 or 30 candidates explain their principles and plans. Let the votes split as they may. Is there any way this could ever happen? Sadly, no, Chris. And the reason is, while political parties aren't the best answer, they're natural. They're like unions or anything else. The political parties are in the First Amendment, believe it or not. I mean, not specifically, but they are. Political parties are basically freedom of speech and freedom of association combined. It's what they are. And so people are going to have parties. I actually don't care much. And I was actually asked this question in Atlanta about this, right? What about these parties and such? I said, it isn't the parties that I actually mind. It's the fact they control ballot access. That's the issue. The fact that they control ballot access. For those of you who are Republicans, Democrats watching, you may not know this. Your party, if you are a Democrat or Republican, every single year sues people to get them off the ballot. Every year. your party sues people, goes to court to throw people off the ballot and wins every single year. Why the hell is that even a thing, Chris? That should not be a thing. If someone manages to get on the ballot, leave on the ballot. What do you care? They're on the ballot, so what? So what? Are you afraid you're going to lose? Yeah. Or maybe you're afraid you're going to have someone actually gain some power other than Democrat, Republican. Every single year they do it. So the parties, I don't mind. It's the controlling of ballot access that's critical. You change that, more people will be on the ballot. We'll be fine. Thought about a debate moderated by Joe Rogan. Never going to happen. Be amazing. Love it to happen. Never going to happen. It's not where the candidates are, right? Both of the main candidates are over 70 years old. That's not for a while, right? Now there could be a local debate that Joe Rogan would do, a California debate, maybe a Texas debate, maybe with younger candidates who kind of get it. I don't think the Trump and Biden, they still watch TV. I don't mean that as a negative thing, but I mean it's a different issue, right? The Joe Rogan audience, which is heavily young men, but also women, but heavily young men, they don't watch TV. That's not who they are. They watch YouTube. They're on TikTok. They're on whatever is the cool thing of the day. I'm too old to know what the cool thing of the day is. My daughter knows better than I do. They're on that thing. It's a different audience. Would it be great? Yes. Would I do it? Yes. Is it going to happen now? No. 2024? Maybe. Could happen in 2024. 2028, 2024? Yes. Joe Rogan is growing and growing in influence and value. Eventually, the political pundits are going to be like, political consultants are going to be like, this guy matters. Yeah. To be forward with you, Joe Rogan, when I ran, was my biggest name recognition piece I ever did. It didn't raise the most money for me. There were other things that raised more money. But man, recognition. To this day still, by the way, I was upstate 5 days. Every single day I got recognized. Someone recognized me in a diner, in a pub, on the street, a coffee shop. Oh, you're Larry Sharpe. My boyfriend loves you. You're Larry Sharpe. Oh, I voted for you. Oh, aren't you Larry Sharpe? I think I saw you before. So that happened every time. A good half of that, Joe Rogan. It's almost always a young male. Literally, people will drive by, yell out the window, regulate like onions. Yeah, Larry Sharpe. That'll happen to me on New York City. And half of that is Joe Rogan. So there's no doubt he has influence. I just think the audience, the people who are running right now for president, they don't see his value. They don't see it yet. Younger people do. And so his time is coming. Just isn't this year. I hope that answers your question. Yes. I'd love to come back on again, but I'd rather my fellow L candidates get the exposure. When you're done with them, circle back to me. Yes, you'll be running in 2022. Yes, Joe, you will be. I know you will be because I know Joe. You will be running in 2022. You'll be back on. I appreciate that. Yes. Yes. Without political parties, people have to do their homework. Yes. But the issue, Chris, is what I mentioned earlier. I've got the quote wrong, but the quote goes something like this. The cost of educating, hold on. The cost of becoming educated is too high compared to the chance of enacting change. I think I did that right. Something like that. And I think people feel that. When there's no change, why bother? Why do I go through all of this energy, time, money, and energy so I make a vote? It doesn't matter. Nothing changes. You know what? I'm going to go back to work, hang out with my friends and family, watch Netflix. And whatever happens, happens. It's a bit of helplessness that I think we have, which is why turnout's so low. I think you're right. I don't know if America wants to do that. Yes. Don't count on Howie to tax Tesla into oblivion and shoot his electric car thing in the foot. Look, the reality of it is Howie's not going to win. I think he knows he's not going to win. I mean, his running mate still has a full-time job driving a truck. They're not full-time campaigners. I think they know they're not going to make 50 states. The Green Party won't be in all 50 states. So they know they're not going to win. I think he's trying to make a point. I think he's trying to pull votes away from the Democratic Party to show them they have to go as far left as he wants them to go. The Republicans are saying that Biden is the super left candidate. He's not. Howie Hawkins is. Biden, compared to Howie, is not left. Biden's left. Relative to Howie, he's not. So it's a scale, right? It's a scale. So Howie's trying to draw people who are more hard left, the Bernie supporters, and draw them over to him on purpose, because the Green Party does a very good job of bringing the Democratic Party left. It's a very good job, but they're effective at helping to bring the Democratic Party left. The Conservative Party does not do the same for the Republicans. They don't do a good job of it. So I don't think I didn't think he's going to win. He's not. That isn't even his goal. His goal is to get people to hear what he has to say, to believe in him, and to see it. And if Trump wins in November and to be forward, I don't know how people can be so sure that Trump's going to win or lose. And I hear it. I hear people going, "Oh, guaranteed Trump's lost," or "Guaranteed Trump's going to win." I don't know how you can trust any data to be that bold to be so sure, but people are. I'm not. To me, this is a toss-up. I have no idea who's going to win. But if Trump wins, I think a lot more people are going to rush to Howie, and I think he knows that, or to the Green Party, because they're going to feel desperate. They're going to say, Democrats can't beat Trump. Who can? Oh, and a lot of the left's going to run to Howie, and I think Howie and the Greens know that, and I think that's what this is about, getting a footprint. If Trump loses, he hopes they run to him. If Trump wins, he hopes they run to him. If Trump loses, he doesn't gain much, right? The Greens gain more if Trump wins, because then pissed off Democrats who are the stronger left ones will say, you know what, Democrats, what am I doing? They may run green. That's their hope. If it meant breaking duopoly. Thank you. That's what you meant, John. Thank you. Would you consider running a unity ticket with Howie Hawkins if she has what it look like? I don't know how that works. How do we, you mean 2024? 2020 is done. 2024, would I run a unity with Howie Hawkins? I'm not sure we could. I like him. We're friends. Friendly. I don't know if I can call him a friend, but we're definitely friendly. That's for sure. We're acquaintances. Both former Marines. I think while our goals are very aligned, our methods are really not. He was literally talking about seizing businesses. I don't know how I mend that fence. I don't know how I square that circle. I'm not sure I could square that circle. I appreciate him. And I get what you're saying, John. I think we're too far apart. I don't think we can come together. How do I square the circle of seizing businesses as a libertarian? I don't know how do I turn that, right? Do I make a law? If you break a law, we seize it, or there'd be a lot of conversations. I don't know. I'm not against the concept. Maybe there's a way of squaring that circle. I don't see it. But hey, John, if you got the answer, I'm open to look at it. Yes. These political books are fictions. Nice, Joel. Very good. See, so I guess we are reading fiction after all, Joel. Thank you so much. I love that. Finally getting around to reading For New Liberty, reading a physical copy right now. Look at you reading. I love that. Awesome. All right. James's question about federal holidays is like Mike Barnacle asking JG, what would you do about Aleppo? Like context, please. Yes, it's nice. I agree. But, I get it. Some people care about different issues, right? One of the things that I try to talk to candidates about, by the way, is you don't have to push, an agenda and an answer for every single thing. If you're running for a federal, a federal seat, you should care about things like federal holidays. You're running for, city council. Why do you care? It's not an issue you need to care about. You don't have to be an activist and go, oh my God, federal, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to. You can just go, I'm running for city council, federal holidays, not on my radar. Done. Right? Now, what about getting the trash delivered? Yeah, city council, that's on your radar. You need to have an answer for that. Taking the trash out, that's your game. Have an answer for that. Federal holidays, I don't care. And the reverse is true. I'm running for Congress. I don't care about taking the trash out. That's a city thing. I care about federal holidays. So we do want to know, what the person's running for. Not me. I'll try to answer any question. This is AMA. I'll try to answer any question. But I'm saying if you're running for office, candidates often get stuck and then try to out-libertarian somebody by having some outlandish policy on something that has no value and means nothing to them. They shoot themselves in the foot. It's a trap. Mr. Larry, if you have any of the books you don't want, let me know. I like that. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Let's see. See if I can keep going down. I grew up with a giant encyclopedia set. Massive set of books. Now we got easy access information on that. You're right, James. Some of you realize how old I am. I'm old enough to remember still buying a World Book Encyclopedia, and my World Book Encyclopedia that I had was made in 1968. Yes, like the Vietnam War wasn't in it because it wasn't over yet. That's yes. So yeah, I got a series, a World Book series. World Book was what we had for my encyclopedia. I was probably 4, maybe give or take 5. I was a kid, a little kid, but not even in school yet. My parents bought that plus like a child craft thing for like making things and all of that. So yes, I totally get that. Now encyclopedias are almost useless. I know, terrible, but almost useless. So I do like atlases though. I think atlases are very, very valuable for quick reference. I do like atlases. I have like 5 atlases: historical atlas, religious atlas, Roman Empire atlas, a bunch of atlases of different things. I have lots of atlases. So is it atlases or atlasi? I don't know what the word is. I'm gonna call it atlases. Yes. What music do you listen to? I like now. I grew up in the 70s and 80s. So most of my favorite music is probably 80s pop. It's probably my favorite music. I liked 80s new wave. I liked 80s rap. I liked 80s hair bands. I liked all that stuff. I enjoyed all of it. Everything from I liked Public Enemy, Quiet Riot, all of that stuff. All of it. I enjoyed all of it. The slower stuff too. Donna Summer. I don't. Am I aging myself? But I think that's what I like then. Now, though, I have a theory. And I have a theory that I'm going to make some of you angry. And my theory is you become old once you stop listening to new music. So once you decide there's no good music anymore, you just became old. That's my theory. So since that's my theory, I now listen to all new music too. I listen to all new music. Like I literally listen to Cardi B. I know it sounds crazy. She's a Bronx girl, just like I'm from the Bronx too. So her new stuff, though, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I guess I'm too old to get that. But some people get it. I still listen to it. So I have German heritage. So I speak a little bit of German also. So I listen to German rap. A lot of German rap. That's one of my favorite things to listen to. I know it sounds crazy. A lot of German rap. I also still listen to 80s and 90s music often. I still like American rap too. I still listen to that also. I also like a lot of electronic EBM. I like that too. So I listen to a lot of types of music. I have about 6 or 7 different Pandora stations that are all different stuff, and I pop it in often. I also, not to sound crazy, I also like very smooth, slow stuff like traditional Sade, Smooth Operator, stuff like that. So I don't know. I guess I've just said I listen to everything, didn't I? That's not very helpful, is it? All right, let me give you my favorites now. Now, I like German rap a lot now. Kollega is probably one of my favorite ones. Contra K, also one of my favorites, those two. And EBM and most modern day stuff. I'm also a fan of Killer Mike. So everything, Chris, I'm sorry. Everything. I hope that was clear. There are some albums that are not available on any other format. Just bought a Frank Zappa album. Yes, Frank Zappa made some amazing stuff. And he really did. Absolutely. He made amazing stuff. Yes. When are you coming to Colorado? I just did an event for Colorado. I did a training for, it was virtual. I did a virtual training for Colorado candidates about a month or 2 ago. So probably once COVID's over, I'll come out. Maybe I'll do your convention next year. I tend to do a convention circuit every year. I didn't do many this year. I think I did 2 or 3 this year only because of COVID. But I've been to probably 60 conventions, give or take, in the past 4 years. So I'll probably come to your convention. That's it. Yes. If you took over the Jorgensen campaign today, what would you change, if anything? A whole lot more content. Don't make any content. I make more content than they do. I produce 8 hours of live content every week at least, if not more. I'd make tons of content. That's what I would do. Yes, that was for you. I was just wondering because I don't think it should be a crime to work on a holiday. Is it a crime to work on a holiday? I don't know. Maybe. But I don't know. Maybe it's a Sabbath. It's a crime. It's a sin to work on a Sabbath. Maybe. Holiday comes from holy day, so you can't work on a Sabbath. So I think some Orthodox Jewish people would disagree with you. There we go. Yes. So Larry Sharpe for governor. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes. The Sharpe little library at the front of the house by the sidewalk of Liberty. That's not bad. I like that. Yes. Absolutely. Yes, you moved on. I did too, Joe. You moved on. So did I. Yes. I remember when the books 1994, I think you mean 1984, and on Animal Farm were fiction. Yep, they are no longer. My daughter literally has a new copy of Animal Farm because I always tease her. I always go, remember, some animals are more equal than others. That's always my favorite line. She now loves that. And we watched the movie 1984 together. I read the book as a kid. I watched the movie when it came out in 84, and my daughter and I watched the movie together. And then she read the book after. So she enjoyed it tremendously. And also Fahrenheit 451. The new movie was terrible. I don't know if you watched. That new movie was a hunk of garbage. What a terrible movie that was. The old movie from the 60s, I think, was a really good movie based upon the book. The movie recently, I don't know what it was based on. It was like, let's call it the book and let's not do the book at all. That's what that was. I like to recommend 2 books about tobacco and tobacco harm reduction. Velvet Glove, Iron, First by Christopher Snowden, and The Rediscovery of Tobacco by Jacob Greer. Well, there we go. If someone wants to watch that, please go ahead. We need a Libertarian Network media channel. We do. It's called The Sharpe Way, Tony. What are you doing? You're watching it now. Every night, 7 p.m. You're watching Libertarian Network Media. You're already watching it now, but I appreciate that. I agree. I think it would. The issue is I'd rather it not be libertarian. In other words, I'd rather it just be open. I honestly believe in my heart, Tony, that if we just talk openly, that we move towards libertarian values naturally. Because once we start to respect each other, there's a reason why I said it's all about respect. Let's see if I can find it here, right? The way to mutual respect. Let me take this off and you can see it. The banner here, the way to mutual respect. There's a reason why I put that there, Tony, because I really believe that if we have mutual respect for each other, human respect for each other, that we will by default move towards libertarian values, libertarian view. So I actually think that if we spent more time doing that without having to call it a libertarian network, it would become that by default. But, if you want that, you can. Most important to do, head over to sponsor this show. Right, exactly. I don't have commercials yet. I'm going to have commercials coming up here soon. So that'll make you all angry because you won't pay enough money for it. So I can't stop. I have to do commercials. So sponsors, you can sponsor if you want to. $10, $25, or $100. Over to patreon.com/sharpeway. If you're serious about it, guys, help me out. It's right here. Take care of it. Thank you for that plug, Tony. Appreciate it. Yes. All right. Let's see. I think the media should be true neutral and just what I was talking about. Just report the news with little or no opinion pieces. That there was a station that was similar to that, and that was originally CNN's headline news channel. Not the CNN channel. They had a secondary channel called HLN Headline News. That was really just it was almost like New York City has 10-10 wins. Every 22 minutes just gives you the news, no opinion whatsoever. The problem is people aren't watching it. People like the drama, Paul. They like the opinion. And now the news isn't the news. The news is what people think about the news. That's the news. If you watch people talking, they're not asking for facts. They're asking, what's your take? What's your opinion? What's your reaction? That's the news. The news is your reaction to the news. The news is your opinion of the news. Your news is, what do you think about the news? That's the news now. You are correct. And this goes back to my point with Tony. If we just had an open conversation, and if it was neutral, I think we by default become libertarian. I think that happens over time. That's what I think. I think we agree. We need to increase the potential number of viewers. Yeah. So support it. Patreon. I'll run more ads. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. So agreed on that completely. Let me grab a couple more if I can. I'm so happy you guys are throwing so much at me. I'm trying to grab it all. It is just so hard to get all of them because you guys give me so much. I love it. I'm not complaining. It's awesome. Yes. All right. The Theory of Moral Sentiments by Smith, The Road to Serfdom are the 2 most influential books I've read Two recommendations: Minimum Wages by David Newmark and Open by Kimberly. We are rocking it with books, guys. We're going to be so smart. I love that. Okay, Jonathan, you are trying to trigger me. And it so worked. No pineapple on pizza. No pineapple on pizza. James, that's a sin. That's a crime. See that? Forget working on a holiday. Pineapple on pizza is a crime. Should be punishable by life imprisonment with no due process. I'm a libertarian with one exception. No pineapple on pizza. You get no rights. You put pineapple on pizza, you lose all of your rights. All of them. Gone. You just triggered me. Anyway, yes, no pineapple on pizza. Thank you, Jonathan, for triggering me. All right. Big dogs or little dogs, just cats. I happen to love big dogs. I also like little dogs, but I prefer big dogs. I like German Shepherds. I like big dogs. I prefer, but I've had little dogs too. Terriers, love them. I've had 4 dogs in my life. Love dogs. I don't mind cats, but I'm allergic, so I've never had any because I'm allergic to cats. So I don't have cats, so I don't have a bond to them. I'm not anti-cat. I am allergic, so I've never had one. So I don't have a bond to them. They're fine, but no bond. I've had bonds to several dogs. I love dogs, absolutely. So yeah. All right. See if I can grab a couple more. Do you think the Democrats will abolish the Senate filibuster? They appear to like to use it when it benefits them, but want to abolish it when it benefits Trump. I think they will change nothing. That's what I think, Paul. I think they will simply take charge and just be in charge. I think they'll change almost nothing. And I think you're seeing that now even with all the protests, right? So many protests, so many riots, so many problems. What's actually changing? Virtually nothing. This goes back to my point. Why bother? So many people are checking out because we're fighting in the streets. The cities are rubble. What's changed? Nothing. What's the cool policy that's happened? They came and decided if they're going to bail out the companies again or not. Nothing's changing. So I think no. I think they'll be mad at the filibuster until they have enough, until the filibuster proof. Then they'll be like, filibuster's great. We've got 70 Democrats, so filibuster's awesome. As long as they can use that weapon to crush their enemy, they'll love that weapon. I think they'll change nothing. I could be wrong. I think they'll change nothing. That's what I think. Joe likes the Sharpe electoral college system proposal. I think it's a better system. I think it doesn't, it does still give some power to smaller states. It does, but it's fairer. It doesn't. In my view, it doesn't throw the loser completely out. The loser of the state gets something, and if they get crushed, they get a little bit. If they get something, they get something. I think it's better. Yes. Ranked choice voting is needed in all primaries. I think all elections, period. Joe Rogan wants to moderate debate between President Trump and Biden. Get Joe Rogan in there too. Would be a debate to watch. That's for sure. Yes, I agree. I think Joe Rogan will be a great moderator. I don't think it'll happen right now. Is what I'm saying. I don't think the people who run a Trump and Biden campaigns get who he is enough. Again, you never know. It could be wrong. I just don't think they get it right now. I think they do. Yes. I think I asked that question. I think I answered it. How would it look? I don't know if it could look. Yes. Maine approved ranked choice voting, and when Poliquin lost his seat due to that, the Republicans in Maine fought to get repealed. Maine libertarians will let him do that. Yes, I did. Maine did go to that. Absolutely. Yes, I totally agree. Maine is going to that. I love it. Yes. The whole "you're throwing your vote away" argument drives me insane. Yes, that's why I use it against them. Logan, that's why I use it against them. I use that argument against them. Absolutely. Yes. Forget about libertarian president right now. We got to get libertarian governor with Larry Sharpe in office first. I'm in, James. I'm with you. See that? James, right? Listen to him. There we go. Yes, absolutely. Forget about Biden or Trump. It doesn't matter because it'll still be red. I think Nebraska and Oklahoma, that's true. I totally agree. Yes, there really isn't. New York's going to be blue. It doesn't matter. You can vote wherever you want. I know people are screaming and yelling. I'm hearing them say it, right? The Republicans in New York State. And this, by the way, if you're a New York State Republican, if you're part of the party in any way, look, I'm not a Republican. I'm libertarian. I'm saying this to help. And that is, if you keep lying to New York Republicans, eventually they're going to turn on you. I don't know when that's going to happen, but they're going to. If you're a New York Republican, stop lying to your Republicans and saying Trump's going to win. They could win New York. He can't. It's 3-1 Democrat to Republican. Not going to happen. It is a fantasy. You've been lying as a Republican in New York, as the party. The party's been lying to Republicans in New York for at least 10 years. There's been no chance of a statewide Republican victory for at least 12 years. They have one in 20, but there was no chance in 12. Please just stop. Say the truth. If you vote locally, you can win locally in local elections. Republicans win in New York State locally all the time. All the time. There's lots of Republicans who win in New York State all the time locally. Statewide, impossible. Not going to happen. And if you keep lying to your Republicans, eventually they're going to turn on you. I shouldn't tell you this because when they turn on you, they're coming to me. So I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm just being honest with you, and I don't want New Yorkers to be lied to because you're lying to them. Just tell the truth. If you like Trump, vote for him because you like, but it's going to change nothing. That's the reality. If you really love Trump and you just want to feel good about voting for Trump in New York State, I get it. You love him, vote for him. It'll feel good voting for him. It's going to do nothing. You're not going to, you vote. We don't have that mix like in Maine. You're getting nothing. Republican Party of New York, stop lying. Talk about local candidates where you got a shot at actually winning. But vote gold anyway. So anyway, yes. Okay. Thank you, Larry, for your passion and time and energy to promote the Libertarian Party. Appreciate it. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Yes. Love your show. I share the Libertarian Party of Chaffee County Development Group on a regular basis. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, it's good. Thank you. Yes. You just said the cool thing of the day. I'm not sure what that was, but thank you. Trump has said he wanted to debate Biden on Joe Rogan's show. Not sure if that was real, just a meme, though. I don't think it was real. I don't think he actually wants that. To be forward, Trump would debate Biden anywhere. I don't know why Biden's going to debate. I still think he's going to bail on it, and he should. I still think this is a toss-up election. I know people tell me all the time, no. I know Trump's going to win, or I'm sure Biden's going to win. I don't know how people can be that sure. I don't know what data can you trust now? I don't know what I can trust. I don't know data I can trust now on this. 2016, I didn't think Trump was going to win the nomination. I was totally wrong. The data said he wasn't going to, and he did. The data said he wasn't going to win the presidency, and he did. So I don't know what you trust. So I don't know why Biden go. I just helped out Republicans in New York. I'm going to help out Democrats now. If you're on the Biden campaign, convince him to not debate. It is a mistake. Sorry, it's not a mistake. It's a gamble that's not required. It is a big gamble, and one where the odds of Trump losing that gamble are slim, and the odds of Biden losing that gamble are a whole lot higher. A whole lot higher. So that's all I'm saying. But I think it's a meme. Yes, I remember you. I know Joe. I remember that. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. Yes. I consider Biden a centrist Democrat. In reality, Biden is a get-along guy. That's what he really is. My view, my opinion on Biden, many would disagree. I don't think he's as bad as people say he is, meaning mentally. I don't think he's as sharp as he was, and that's true. But I think all he cares about is, how do I get this win? This is my third time running. It's my legacy. I want to win this damn thing. I busted my rump for 50 years or whatever it's been to do this. I want this. What do I got to say? What do I got to do to win this thing? That's who I think Biden is right now. I think he changes because it's going to sound horrible, but I don't think he actually has any policies that are dear to him. I don't think he has any. I don't think he has a strong compass of where he wants to go. I think he's like, oh, I believe that now? Yep. Oh, polls say that? I so believe that. Always believe that. I know there's literally video evidence of me not believing that, but that's not true. That because I've always believed the thing I just said now. What did I say again? That's what I believe. I really think that's who he is right now. I don't think he's as lost as people say he is. I just think he doesn't have a real policy compass that points him in a direction. I think he's like, whatever's going to get me elected, that's what I believe. That's what I'll say. I think you're right, Paul. And I think by default, he becomes centrist because the establishment Democrats support him, which means by default, he's an establishment Democrat. If the fringe supported him, he'd be a fringe Democrat. I think he's whoever supports him. I know it sounds cruel, but I shouldn't say cruel. It sounds harsh, but I think it's who he is. So if Trump shows up for the Rogan debate and Biden doesn't, does that mean Joe will get an invitation? And would Trump debate her with Rogan? That might be Joe's best shot. No way, ever, never going to happen. Nope. No way Trump debates Joe. Nope. Never going to happen. Fantasy. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. I got in debates in New York State. Cuomo didn't show up. Never going to happen. Trump's enemy is Biden. That's what he knows. Everyone else secondary. He doesn't care about anybody else. His enemy is Biden. Trump is going to fight Biden or Trump's not fighting. That's it. Never going to happen. I'd bet money. Never going to happen. If we could bring people to the Libertarian Party instead, that'd be great. We have 4 years in between the POTUS elections. Those 4 years of fundraising to get ads and commercials in front of everyone. We are failing ourselves here. No, I'm doing it now, Phil. Why do you think I'm doing this? Why do you think I literally did 75 Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live? Joe was on one of them. Yes. Why? Supporting down ticket, supporting local people running, because when November's done, whatever happens, the outcome, someone's got to pull this party back together. It's going to be the local people who are going to stay here. They're the ones who are going to show up again when we need them. It's going to be the Joes of the world, of our nation, who are going to be here again in 2021 and 2022, who still have people who know them. It's going to be them. I'm trying my damnedest to support them because they need to feel supported. Sadly, they often don't feel supported. I know, I've been one of them. Often they don't feel supported. Well, I'm here. I support you. You are totally right, Phil. I'm doing it. And we've got to keep growing our farm team, right? We don't have a deep bench. That's one of our problems as a party. We don't have enough people to have a large enough talent pool. We need more talent. Part of that is not letting people go because they feel not supported. Why do I do fundraisers? You see me do fundraisers for people here. You see me do it. I do fundraisers. I raise money for them. I go out there and support them. If you've been watching my trip, 15 stops last week. Most of them were for other candidates, not for me. I'm not doing anything. So I agree. That's part of my plan. I'm literally doing it now. I mean, I am actually doing it now, right? So again, I'm asking money now, see? So thank you again for that. $10, $25, $100. Patreon.com/Sharpe Way. By the way, I have a Liberty Memes t-shirt on. Liberty Memes is awesome. So please go check out Liberty Memes. They're awesome. Yes. Larry, do you have a yard sign to Seaport? I assume support BLM. My friend asked me why we don't have a BLM sign in our yard, and I told him we live in a condo building. We don't have a yard. No. Why would I have a yard sign for BLM? I'm not a member. Not something I talk about much. And the last thing they require is my support. They're doing fine all on their own without me. So no, I actually don't have any yard signs out right now. I have a small yard, and I live in Queens. We have a small yard. I don't have any yard signs out right now. So no, I don't. Let's see. I'm reading Booker T. Washington in the first book in James S.A. Corey's The Expanse series. There we go. Good. Thank you. So if I can figure this one out here. I almost had my grandmother ready to pull out her checkbook to purchase a set of encyclopedias over the phone one time. Yes, I believe that. Yes. I had the same encyclopedia. Thank you, Tony. See, I know you know. Absolutely. An atlas about Atlas. I like atlases. I think that's how you pronounce the plural of atlas. Because they're targeted and you can go through and see things you wouldn't have thought, and I can sit with my daughters and go through them. And I do often. I have two daughters. One is 16, one is 10. And we'll go through history and things, and we'll just go through the atlas page by page. I think there's value to an atlas. So I do like it. Yes. Ray Old Media, I'd like to point out that vinyl outsold CDs for the first physical quarter since the mid-'80s recently. Don't ditch old media. Too late now, John. Already got rid of it. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Forgive my ignorance, but what is ranked choice voting? Ranked choice voting is basically an idea where you literally rank your choices. So say, for example, there are 5 candidates running as an example. Say 4, maybe more. Let's say 4 candidates running. You rank them 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, let's say certain candidates you will not take at all. They get no ranking, right? So you decide what ranking you want to put them. So let's say, for example, there are four people running. 2 you would accept, 2 you would not. Here's the one you want first. He gets a 1, she gets a 2. And that's it. And everyone votes that way. Some people say, I like them all. Here's my order, or whatever the case may be. Then they then tally up the votes. If in the first vote, one person in first choice gets 51% or more of the vote, or 50% plus one of the votes, they're the winner. What if they're not? What if out of 4 or 5 candidates, that person, the top vote getter only gets 35% of the vote? Great. The bottom person is removed. Number 4 is removed, and everyone voted for number 4 as number 1. They now go to those people's second choices. So if you voted for this person for number 1 as your first choice, well, she didn't win. So now all those people's second choice now gets added to everyone else. Okay, did someone make 50% plus 1? They didn't. Bottom gets pulled out, more gets added until someone gets 50% plus 1. That's not the only method of ranked choice voting. There are many methods. This is the most common one used. So that's ranked choice voting. It's a way there, and it's done by an algorithm, or it's done by it can be done by a machine. It can be done by hand, and many libertarians will do it by hand, and it is brutally long. It takes a long time to do it by hand, but people do it, and it's a fairer way, which means, let's say you like the libertarian candidate. You think Joe Jorgensen's awesome, and you want to vote for him. You think, wasted vote, because you're worried that if Joe doesn't win, then Trump will win because you hate Trump. Okay, you can vote Joe first, and then Joe Jorgensen first, and then Biden second. So if Joe doesn't win, your vote goes to Biden. It allows you to vote for third parties and not be afraid that your guy, who you're afraid of, still doesn't get your vote. So that's one of the advantages of ranked choice voting, right? So if the guy who you like Howie Hawkins a lot, but you don't think he'll win, you can still vote number 1, but you're scared of Joe Jorgensen because she's a libertarian. Great, you put in Biden second or whatever. So you can still get the person you want and voting third party. That's why ranked choice voting is very popular. So yes. Love this theory on aging. Yes, see, that's my theory. Absolutely. Phil, you're old. See that? You're old. Absolutely. Yes, you are old. Yes. Zachariah, what's up with you in race today? All right, fine. Another question. Do you think a black person that says, I don't trust a white person to cut my hair is racist? That statement in general isn't racist, because there is a difference in fading black people's hair. I know there is a difference in that, but I don't look at the white person. I don't do that. I look at what they're actually doing. I look at who they're cutting. If they're cutting hair like mine, I don't mind doing it. But do I go to a regular barbershop where I don't see any black people in the barbershop and they only cut white people's hair? Sometimes I get afraid that they won't cut my hair well because it is different type of hair. So is the person doing it because they don't like white people? Then they're racist. They're doing it because they want a good haircut? Not necessarily. Depends upon what the context. Remember, context is critical in almost any situation, but particularly in racist situations, right? Is the context. And the issue is the person care about their hair? If that's the issue, it may not be racist. But they might be racist. It could be. So thank you for the question. But no, I know I have to go to a barber who I know can cut my hair. But I don't care if my barber happens to be white. But is it because I cared if he was white or not? I don't care if he's white. Often though, when I go to other cities where I don't know, like if I go to another city where I don't know the barbershop, I will very often look for a black barber. Maybe I'm racist, but I'm looking for a barber who can cut my hair. So if I don't know, I will often look for a black barber. It's very common. I do it because I know they can cut my hair. But otherwise, if they have a white barber, I look at who they're cutting, and then if they have the pictures on the wall that I trust, that looks like the right fade that I want, then I'll go there. So I don't think so, but I guess it could be. So, 90s kid. I actually had both Pearl Jam and Nirvana's CDs. So I do like 90s too. I do also. Yes. Yes. If Howie agreed to not initiate force to achieve his goals, he's libertarian. I agree, Thomas. The issue is most libertarians, most Green Party and socialist people in their minds, and this goes to our earlier piece about the difference between emotional feelings and facts. In their minds, their feeling is if it's voted on by government, it's not force. Now, I know some of you libertarians, your head just exploded. I know. I'm not saying what is true. I'm not saying what's factual. I'm saying what many of them believe. I know I've heard them. No, but we voted. No, but we voted. And I said, but it's people with uniforms and guns. Yeah, but it's the police. It's we voted. So in their mind, that's not force because you voted. Right? Because it's the police. So it's not force. Force is not voted non-police. That's what they feel. I know we disagree with that. I'm just saying that's what many of them feel. And I think Howie's in that boat too. I think Howie's like, no. You voted. It's fine. It's your local. It's your local community stealing your stuff. So it's not theft. I think they actually feel that in their heart. So Zach's an 80s kid. Thank you. I'm a 70s and 80s kid. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you. Yes. Yes, indeed. Rammstein. I absolutely do listen to Rammstein. I do. Yep. Guilty as charged, Jonathan. Guilty as charged. Yes. 80s New Wave was amazing. Yes. Scritti Politti, Prefab Sprouts, Venerable A, the Blow Monkeys, Joy Division. Absolutely. Echo and the Bunnymen. The Smiths. Yep. I even was a Devo fan. All those. 100% yes. The Sweetest Taboo. Yes. Sade can sing to me anytime she wants. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. The older I get, the older the music I listen to is. Yes. 100%. My favorite condiment without question is mustard. And it's mustard because I am on the keto lifestyle. I've been keto for about 10 years now. So mustard is keto friendly. So mustard is my favorite. Absolutely. I actually do like ketchup. I just can't have it because it is terrible on keto. Yes. Yes. Spike makes quite a bit of content. He does. Spike's better at content. That's true. He's better at content, but nowhere near what he should be making. Not even close. But yeah, he's better. He's better. Yes, absolutely. Fahrenheit 451 is a great book. It is. The new movie was garbage, but the book is great. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Ray Bradbury is amazing also. Didn't he write Mars Chronicles? I think that's the other one he wrote. Yes, I think he wrote the Mars Chronicles also. Yes. Lara, you consider media? I think so. I hope I am. I'm not the mainstream media, but I think I am. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Any tips on committing to mutual respect for libertarians like me with occasional anger issues? Look, we're all humans, dude. I get it, John. We're human. I get mad too. I get mad. You've seen me sometimes lose my shit here. It does happen sometimes. I'm still human. I get it. You're all human. We're all human. The key is try to understand. Try to give the person the benefit of the doubt. I want you to assume that when that person's telling you something that makes your head want to explode, assume that they want the same outcome as you. That I want to be your assumption. And then ask them about the outcome. When someone says, we got to force these idiots to wear a mask no matter what, and if they don't wear a mask, we got to put them in jail. When they talk like that, which makes libertarians want to explode, instead of going, what? You put them in jail, you're a fascist, blah, 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 or start discussing whether the masks are right or wrong. Instead say, do you really want a safer society? I know I do. Do you? Yeah, of course I do. Can we talk about how to have a safer society? Have that first. And generally speaking, it's not a 100% rule, but generally speaking, you'll have a better conversation. You'll be able to stay not as angry. Also understand something else. Most of these people, except Jonathan, who's purposely trying to trigger me, aren't trying to trigger you. What they're trying to do is show and validate their ideas and concepts. And they want you to validate them. They want to feel important or feel strong or feel special. Most people are looking at that when they announce things like that. Look at it like that. It's not that they're against you. It's not that they're trying to make you angry. It's they want to be validated. and you're in the way. You happen to be there, and they want to be validated. If you look at it that way, you won't take it as personally. That's why I don't take it so personally. I don't assume people are getting on this thing and trying to make me angry, except Jonathan. I don't think they're trying to make me angry. They're not trying to. They're just saying what they feel and trying to be valid and trying to be important and trying to be whatever. I get it. We all want to be that way. I get it. So I'm not angry at them. I assume they want the same thing that I want, and let's talk about it. Sometimes they won't. John, sometimes they're jerks. People are jerks, and some people don't. They just want to be an ass. In that case, get angry. So I hope that was helpful. Yes. All right. The news is our new theater. Shakespeare will be so disappointed. Yes, because it's all tragedy and no comedy. Yes, absolutely. Of course he would be. That's a good point. I like that. Yes. All right. Economics in one lesson should be read in high school. The reason why, and I brought this up this weekend. There's a reason why there's no civics, economics, home ec, shop, why these are going away from our schooling. They're not on the test. And all the schools need federal funding. And federal funding is based upon the tests. What's on the test? Math, ELA. That's it. That's why it's on everything. That's why it's all that matters. They cut everything else out for those. End federal funding. Guess what will be back in? Civics, economics, all those things will be back. Mark, they can't go in right now. The current system stops it. You think I'm making it up? Talk to the PTA. Talk to your teachers. Teachers are forced to teach ELA. They're told, don't teach this. Spend time teaching to the test. Literally, stop. Teach to the test. That's where our money comes from. Federal funds. Get rid of federal funds. Economics comes back in. Absolutely. Yes. So true about talking heads, MSM. Kennedy said JoJo should be in debates on Fox News, and Trey Gowdy laughed. Yep. 100%. Yes. Anchovies, totally fine. All good. No pineapple. Yes. See? James with me. James, you're with me. No pineapple. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I didn't know Larry went fascist over, but yes, I went full-on fascist. That was you never go full-on. Yeah, I went full-on fascist. Absolutely. No pizza. Full-on. Yes. See, Tony knows. Pineapple on pizza is sacrilegious. Yes. Thank you. Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. Yes. Wholly agree. Thank you. Yes. Larry turned to Alex Jones over pineapple on pizza. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Yes. I'm Alex Jones on pineapple on pizza. Yes. What are your thoughts on term limits? I love the idea of term limits, more importantly, on legislators. While I want them on executives too, that usually isn't that big of an issue. As a general rule, we tend to vote out executives. New York State's an exception to that rule, so I want them on executives also. But more importantly than on executives, it's got to be on people in assemblies, in senates, in the Senate, in Congress. That's critical. There is far more corruption in the legislature than there is in the executive branch. There's clearly corruption in all branches. The vast majority is in the legislature. So we've got to get term limits into legislatures. Number one, fast. That's the first place. Then to everything else. We've focused on the executives, which we need. But legislature first. Number one. Yes. Exactly. I'm going to have a meat lover's pizza with extra pineapple. See, he's trying to trigger me. I told you he is. Jonathan, he's trying to get me going nuts. I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. I'm not talking to you anymore, Jonathan. I'm not talking to you anymore. Yes. Red and blue are the same. Vote gold 2020. Absolutely. Yes. All right. See, I'm going to be good here. Pineapple pizza in Hawaii, fine. It's local. They can have it. It's Hawaii, fine. If you live in Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard, you can have pineapple on pizza. If you're not Hawaiian, you go to jail. It's fine, though, if you're Hawaiian. Fine. Okay, good. All right. Larry, why aren't you watching the Giants game? Because I'm here with you, Zachariah. That's the reason. Because I'm here with you. That's the reason. Yes. All right. Why do conservative Christians not condemn POTUS, but instead make excuses for him? Well, to be full with you, I think Trump has been very good for conservative Christians. While he is not a conservative Christian, I think it's obvious he personally isn't. But there's a huge but here. He has supported their views, their ideas. They're far better than most presidents have. He supports Mike Pence, who is a conservative Christian, right? Mike Pence is actually a conservative Christian. He's actually a conservative. Trump isn't one himself personally, but he has supported their agenda. Like there's no tomorrow. If I was a conservative Christian, I think I would feel the same way. It's not a bad deal. I mean, George W. Bush wasn't as supportive of conservative Christian values. Neither was his dad. Trump has been one of the most pro-conservative Christian presidents in my memory. I mean, Reagan kind of was, but no. You know, he liked that, but you know, he wasn't as. Trump has been great with judges, rules, laws, spoken about pro-life more than any president. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. If you ask the average conservative Christian, I know many of them. I meet them in upstate New York all the time. There aren't that many in New York City. There are some, far more in upstate New York than there are in New York City. But they actually don't like what Trump has done personally. And they'll tell you. They don't like it. They hate that he has sex with porn stars. They hate that he has 3 marriages, cheats on his wives. They hate that stuff. But they love his policies. They do. They're like, you know what? He's not the best messenger, but fine. He gives what we want. I think it makes sense, actually. If I was a conservative Christian, I think I'd feel the same way. Because he has been very good with them. He just has. I hope that answers your question. So yes. All right. Let's see if I can grab this one here. Voting gold across the board. Thank you. New York is not a swing state. That is absolutely true. Trump accomplished more of the libertarian view on foreign policy, not starting wars, bringing troops home, than libertarians could hope to get done. Okay. Yes, the first, no to the second. A libertarian president would have done more. There's no question. And I'll give you the example I'll bring up. And this shows why people get mad at me, because they want me to either hate or love Trump. And I won't. He dealt with 2 things that I wanted him to deal with, and is specifically in foreign policy. I'll give you these two, Jonathan. One is NATO, and the second is the World Health Organization. But I think he did the wrong way. Happy he dealt with them. But he reformed NATO to make them pay more and more responsibility, and then got out of the WHO. I would have swapped them. I would have got out of NATO. That's useless. And then turn the WHO into what it should be, which is a repository for information with no teeth. We could have made it an encyclopedia. We could have made it a repository for information, because outside of America, lots of scientists, they want to submit stuff to WHO. They want to. That's what we should have done. Libertarian president would have done better. Not just the libertarian president wouldn't have just scrapped the deal with Iran. Scrapping the deal with Iran wasn't necessarily a bad idea. But he should have opened it up for trade. Libertarian president would have opened up Iran for trade. Would have done more. Absolutely. Korea would have opened up Korea. North Korea. Trump opened up Korea as in the conversation. Great. Love that. Great conversation. Happy about the conversation, but didn't lock anything down. There's nothing there in North Korea now. He didn't get a treaty. He got nothing. Now, who knows? Next 4 years, he might. I hope he does. If he loses this election, he failed in North Korea. If he wins the election and wraps something down, it'll be a success. A libertarian president would have wrapped up North Korea. So you're right. He's done libertarian things in foreign policy. That's true. But there's no way you could say a libertarian president would have done more. A libertarian president would have got more done. All right. He's also need a long line of stealing people's land on borders. Yeah, that's true too. Yes. So there's some non-libertarian stuff he's done also. Absolutely. Yeah. He's not Mr. Libertarian President. He has done some libertarian things. That's true. And I will always give people credit where credit is due. Absolutely. 100%. But he's not a libertarian president. That he's not. I think it is a toss-up. Absolutely. Yes. All right. Trump is an anti-war. He moved troops out of Afghanistan and into Syria. He moved troops out of Iraq and into Yemen. Yeah, I think it's true. Overall, he has pulled some troops home. But we're still in 7 countries at war. We're bombing 7 countries now, I think. The advantage is, and I'll give him this, Obama was a much worse bomber than Trump is. That's true. But Trump still bombs. But nowhere near as bad as Obama. Obama was Obama. He bombed more, right? But the second Bush, he began the massive bombing. I mean, he was He's like, I'm bombing everybody I could bomb. Thank you, Congress, for letting me bomb people. I'm bombing everybody I possibly can. And then Obama said, thank you. Let me add a couple more onto the list. I can bomb people? Ha, ha, ha. I'm going to bomb some more. But first, let me get my Nobel Peace Prize. Then, let me start bombing some more people. That was Obama. He was bombing even more. Trump didn't add any. But he's still bombing. So, again, he's not anti-war. Is he better than Obama was? Yes. But he's not anti-war. Yes. Biden is the new Bill Clinton, but old. That's very good. I like that. The new Bill Clinton, but old. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think we'll find out if he actually, I mean, when Clinton actually ran, he actually, in the second term particularly, he ran right. He was not a far left Democrat. He didn't govern like one. He governed much more towards the center and or right compared, again, it's relative compared to the Democrats, and that's true. So, yes. Let's see if I can do this. Becoming president of Biden is accomplishing one of his bucket list. Agreed 100%. Absolutely, yes. We need liberty. We need liberty-minded Republicans and liberty-minded Democrats. Both. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. See, Joe knows. Patreon.com/Sharpe Way. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. All right. Guys, so much up here. I appreciate this. I'm going to have to run. I'm glad I was able to do this. I'm going to have a couple more shows this week because I'm not out running too much craziness. I think I have 3, maybe 4 this week. So I'm going to try to have as many shows as I can possibly have. I'm trying to keep Sharpe Way going while I'm out there. Help me out while I'm out there helping libertarian candidates. While I'm out doing this, I'm not working. So please support to the best of your ability. Patreon.com/Sharpe Way. $10, $2,500, whatever you can do. Thank you so much today. I will see you all tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow. I'll see you all tomorrow, 7 p.m. Have a great night.